two eBay purchases from two different folks. The one on the left is defective, and the control knob is positioned wrong. Somebody's had it off. It's very hard to turn. So when it's all the way in the 0 position, should be 0 dB, it shows 50. The seller acknowledged and is refunded the money, and didn't require me to send it back, thankfully, because I had done paid for shipping once. I just assumed not have to pay for it again. Even though my shipping was going to be refunded the first time, I still would have been out of pocket for the second. So here's the second one. This is a different seller. Seller indicated they were not a lab. It came out of a large piece of equipment. They couldn't vouch if it worked or not, but they said they would refund the money if it didn't. So we'll put this on pause, and I'm going to mount this in the tripod, and I'm going to test this one. Okay, I was not taking off pause or recorded the whole time, one or the other. So I have mounted the camera onto the tripod, so my hands are free. The new attenuator, serial number ending in 5039, is hooked up. It was a moment ago, and tracking generator is on from 1 to 3.2 gigahertz, which is the limit of this spectrum analyzer. I have already normalized it, and the yellow line at the top is showing 0 dB, and you can see the control on the attenuator is 0 dB, so I'm going to adjust it to 10 dB, and you see the yellow line drop down to -10, so that is correct. This knob, by the way, is smooth. The action of it is very smooth, and it's what's expected. So -20 dB, and that's what the device says. That's what the spectrum analyzer says. -30 dB. Well, again, it dropped to -30. A little noisy in the upper bandwidth, but you know, still okay. And then -40 dB, and you can see it doesn't quite make it to 40. Looks like, again, it's somewhere around 37, 38. -37 or 38 dBm, and it actually creeps on up to about 28, so it looks a whole lot like what the first one was doing. I'm going to go ahead and take it to -50 dB, and there you can see that it dropped down. Basically it sweeps, it starts at about -40 dB, but goes on up to about -28, so it changed, but not a lot. I'm going to switch back to 40 a second, and if you look at the left of the start of the sweep, it goes up a little bit. I go back from 40 back to 50, it goes down. So this guy should be sweeping at -50 dB. And there was a slight change between 40 and 50, but not much. So now I'm going to go to -60, and very little change. So I'm going to switch back to 50 and look at the -40 when the line starts. It's basically about the same. So let's go to -70, and they're all basically looks the same. Okay, minus 40 is a little higher, minus 50 is a tad bit lower, but it's certainly not minus 50. It's still maybe not even minus 40. So it appears that perhaps these HP8495A attenuators have some kind of defect where, whatever reason, whether somebody abused it or it's just the life of the product that starts to do this. For the last three 30 dB attenuations from 40, 50, 60, and 70, or 4 I should say. But whichever the case, I now have managed to buy 2 of these that don't work correctly. I did see that there was another eBay seller that had one that they were selling that they had proven that was sweeping all the way to 4 gigahertz with a correct attenuation, and they basically took pictures of such. It looks like that'll be my next alternative. I will need to contact the seller of the second one to see how we're going to handle getting this returned or refunded, because I needed a 70 dB 10-step attenuator, and I now have 2 that only go to about 30, and then after that they're very iffy. Alrighty, thanks for watching the video. Actually, I think I'm going to switch the original one back in and just to demonstrate where, okay, it's 50, 40, this is the new one, 30 goes back to 30, 20 goes to 20, 10 goes to 10, 0 goes to 0. Okay, so just bear with me. I'm going to put the original defective one back in as well. Okay, and there it is, and it's all the way counterclockwise. So again, if you recall, the knob of this one was kind of hosed up. It did not actually zero. Somebody had messed it up. In fact, the knob doesn't turn very well as you get towards the end. So we'll rotate it counterclockwise, and we got our minus 10 again, minus 20 again, minus 30, and it starts to go up a little bit there as it approaches the upper end of the spectrum analyzer. When I normalize the tracking generator, TG, the line goes to the top and it's all flattened out. I know, I mean, these cables right here, believe it or not, they are LMR 400 cables, but they're not microwave cables, so they're not really rated to go to 4 gigahertz or even 3 gigahertz. So I'm not so worried about the noise as it gets to the end. Okay, so I'll go back one more time, and this you go back up here. 50 has 0, 60 is minus 10, 70 is minus 20, 0 is minus 30, 10 is minus 40, 20 should be minus 50, and I just keep going. So they're both defective devices, but this knob is hard to turn. But again, it gets right here to where it should be 30 and then 40. There is a slight change in them, and so what's happening to these things, I don't really know. I've never taken one apart. I've never owned one, but I do know that they're both not working because I have seen one actually in use and what it's supposed to look like. So, all right, this video is longer than it should be, but I wanted to demonstrate. I understand the sellers don't have the equipment or necessarily knowledge, and I'm no subject matter expert either, but I'm just trying to get a product that I can use to test my ham equipment, and I don't want to blow up this spectrum analyzer, so I need this attenuator to work. All right, thanks for watching.